Good evening, good evening, good evening, y'all. I am Renee Williams, and I am here to talk about addiction. And when I talk about addiction, it's because I've been through it. I've done it. It had me captive. But I'm on the live. I finally learned how to deal with the disease of an addiction. And tonight we're going to be talking about that. The disease itself is very cunning and baffling and it's damaging and it's hurtful and it's painful and it's all the words that I'm going to use tonight because I have learned one thing. The disease of an addiction don't go away. It can come back, manifest quick, fast, if you allow it, if you don't stay in the safe mode. But before we get started, I'm on fire tonight. I'm moving out the way and let God have his way because I know what addiction done to me. And the only reason I can get on here and tell you about addiction because I lived it. I was on it. I was terrified. Oh, come on, let's go, let's go. Hey, let us give God, take a moment of silence for the addicts that's still suffering, that's still out there, that's struggling to get back in and get back on their feet. My God, thank you. I couldn't have done this without God. So when you hear me talk about God all the time, that's because he had my back when I didn't even have my back. So I want to talk about, I want to get some shout outs first. First, we had some birthdays this week. I can't remember all their name, and that's anonymity, but for the recovering brothers and sisters that celebrated their birthday, happy birthday to you, late birthday. And I also wanted to give the shout out to the ones who've been clean. You know, it's such a good feeling. Oh, I can't tell you it's such a good feeling to get on here now and see the recovery people that's coming in, that's in treatment, that's celebrating their clean time. See, that means something to us. Because we the one that know what we was going through and what we had to continue to go through to stay clean. You know, so when I go through my Facebook, I check every day. I want to see the people that's clean. I want to get on there and say congratulations to you because I know that feeling. I know how it feels to be clean and free from something that's altering your mind and your move and that's bothering you, that's just won't seem to let you go. But for the ones who still stay clean, let me tell you something. It's a reward. It's a reward on your soul. It's a reward on your physical body. It's a reward on the mind. It's a reward on the way you think and the way you move. I want to give a shout out to the ones who celebrating clean time. I heard somebody say 7 days, 47 days, a year, 19 years, 20 years, 30 years, 9 months, 10 months, a year, 6 days, 5 days. I'm telling you what I've seen. And I've seen God manifest in recovery of setting these people free. And I saw one girl, she was heavy like me, and I enjoyed watching her dance. And she was dancing because she was celebrating some clean time, 4 days, I believe. You know, and that's how it works. It works all over the world the same way, the same program. And I thank God that he's allowed us to know that we can be free. You know, we don't have to be held hostage no more. We can be free. And I asked God to give me something tonight. He said, well, you doing it. You moved on out the way. You know, move out the way and let God do what he does through your sponsor, through your meetings, through your service work. He just awesome. And tonight I was just sitting there a few minutes ago thanking him because I know how I used to be. I know how I used to think. I know how I used to live. I know where he brought me from. I ain't gonna never forget it. I ain't gonna never forget it because I didn't get clean to forget. I got clean to remember and never use drugs ever again. And so I just want to thank you tonight. Tonight is Friday, the 13th, and God has made a difference in our lives. And still struggling with a cold, y'all. I was sick, but God is in the healing business, and I thank the God of my understanding for not giving up on us. Not even taking his hands off of us, even when we was in the atmosphere of using, even when we was in the, and I also want to give a shout out to some peoples I love and care about who lost some close peoples to the shooting and to some overdose. But I really want to give a shout out to you, Robin, because you lost your Bessie. You lost, I was really heartbroken. Because when we lose people that we love and respect and enjoy being around, and you lost 3 peoples, her and the baby and the boyfriend. And so I'm telling you, Robin, I give you my blessings, and I want you to stay strong like I know you will. And I love you. And I know it ain't easy, but you must continue to stay clean no matter what. And I say that with genuine love, because, whatever comes out my mouth, it's meaningful and truthful, and I just want to say, if it was heartbreaking to all the other peoples in the world, it's heartbreaking to you. And for that, I am so sorry. So we're going to get on, and tonight we're talking about move out the way. Sometimes we have to move out the way in order to find our way, or order to see better. Shout out to the 12-step program. Shout out to the God of my understanding for never taking his hands off of us, putting us in people's lives and putting people's in our lives to help us get a strategy of how to deal with this disease of an addiction, because this disease of an addiction will carry you very far into the danger zone. Some of us didn't even make it back, but I thank God that we made it back, and I thank God that he's allowed us to be free, but it's still a disease of an addiction, and we can't never forget that. We can't forget that as long as we live. We are stuck with the disease of an addiction, but the only cure that we can understand and have is don't pick up no matter what. I was thinking that, people think so much that it's the behavior, it's the behavior that is the problem. It's the behavior that make us use. It's the behavior that make us think this, but it's the disease. We pick up certain things when we use them, we pick it up, but it's the disease of an addiction. And long as it's a disease of an addiction, it's always going to irk you and want you to use and want you to get out your comfort zone of being clean and being around other people that's clean, and I want to talk about some things that I know that have helped us along the way. Our behaviors, ain't the problem. It's the disease of an addiction. It's the disease that's lingering, that's all in our body. No matter how many decades you got, no matter how many months you got, how many years you got, it can pop up on you at every given time. That's why I always have to watch my boundaries. I always have to watch what hurts me. And when I get hurt, when I get hurt from losing a loved one or stressing out sometime because I miss my loved one, I have to remember that I'm a recovering addict at all times. I can't let nothing slip in and take me away from that, because the disease of an addiction, it don't like us. It don't lie to us. It want us to trust the disease that we are okay, even in our use and even in the atmosphere of being in the danger zone. We are still addicted to drugs, but long as we recovering, and don't use, we okay. Hey, Laura, good for you. You're okay. But see, some people's have to learn the hard way. Some people's have, let me tell you something, even me, I have a son that I love so much, but I had to turn him over to God, and God is working on my baby. He working on my son because I asked him to deliver him off of that alcohol, because that alcohol done cost him so much pain. He got so much good attentions. He got so much. He's so cool, you know, but I'm going to keep praying. I ain't going to stop. Because it's the prayers of the righteous ones that avail it much to help intercede for our kids and our mothers and our fathers and our sisters and aunties and cousins and nephews. And I always continue to do that. I'm going to always continue to do that. And just because you stay in something don't mean you can't get out. That's why we had to move out the way. The ones that's in recovery, for all my recovery friends that celebrated birthdays and clean time, you know, happy birthday. You know, I don't want to call no names on, you know, but I do want to call some names, but I'm just going to chill and say happy birthday for the ones whose birthday was this week and last week. For the guy that runs the Tuesday meeting, it was his birthday. And I just wanted to say, God, I thank you. I just thank you so much. Moving out the way, facing our fears, understanding that fears is just something to try to scare us so we can go back to the addiction. You know, because, you know, I know for a fact that when I was using, come on, Renee, when I was using, nobody couldn't tell me nothing about stop drinking. Nobody couldn't tell me nothing about smoking crack. I did everything I can do to feel good, and that make me feel a way that I wouldn't feel nothing. You hear me? That make me feel like I wouldn't feel nothing, hurt from breaking up, or somebody hurt you, somebody talked about you, somebody that didn't like you. But see, I found out a thing is a good thing. I found one good thing out. I finally learned how to like me. I finally learned how to love me. So I don't need no gratification of knowing that you love me or you care for me, because it ain't about you no more. It ain't about caregiving and nurturing you and helping you get on your feet, or giving you money, or helping you pay your rent, or helping you do. It ain't even about that no more. And you know, I'm not even ashamed that I helped anybody I come. That's what I do. I help everybody. That's what I do. Because I'm so grateful to know that I got clean on this word called freedom. That all we got to do is don't use, go to a meeting, do some service work, stay around positive people, let go of the people, places, and things that we was once hooked up to. So I had to learn. I had to learn a whole lot of things in this recovery field. And you know what? I am so blessed to know that I don't have to use no matter what. You know, I am so blessed that when my mother and my son and my boyfriend and my godfather died, I found a new way to live through the pain. I found a new way to live that I didn't have to go and pick up and let that be an excuse to drive me back out there to the pain and misery I was in. Because once I told God I was sorry, I meant that. I stood on that, and I'm still standing on it. Because he done brought me too far. I'm surprised I'm still here. All the health problems I caused myself, all the mental breakdowns, all the depression, all the anxiety, and he still saw favor on us to keep us around, to give the message, to help people to understand that it's hope, that we can make it, we can make a change, and it's all about change with me. It's all about change. Hey, Felicia. Hey, baby. It's all about change. So when we moving out the way, why did I need to move out the way? Because my way wasn't working. My way was driving me more in the danger zone than I ever knew that it could be a danger zone. My way. And it took a God of my understanding to come into my life and to change our life. Not just my life, your life too. Because see, once you stop doing something that you've been doing for years, People can believe it or not. They think it's easy. It ain't easy. It's just letting God and let go. That's what you got to do in this program in order to work. You got to let go of something that you've been holding on. That means pain. That means forgiveness. That means depression. That means anxiety. It means a whole lot of things. And that's why we're going to jump and talk about the words that God gave me. Because see, I know for a fact that God delivered me. I know for a fact, hey, I see my godmother, Curling Boy, how you doing? I love you and miss you. I say that all the time. I love you and miss you, and I keep you in my prayers. So I learned that we are people that hide. We hide our feelings. And one thing I know about anybody that's in recovery, the most people that come into recovery are the most good people. And we just made some decisions that caused us some pain along the way. And drinking ain't gonna solve nothing. Getting high ain't gonna solve nothing. You got to let go and let God. You got to let God of your understanding come into your life and manifest the good in you. Let you know what the good is in you. Because in every bad person, my mama used to say, and she didn't see no bad. My mother didn't see no bad in nobody. Even the person that I thought was the worst, my mother still saw good in that person. And I had to end up watching her do her thing so it can be instilled in me that even though I don't like your situation, I don't like how you are, I don't like how you do, I still got to love you with the love of God in order to understand that love is about loving on people, even if you think they don't deserve it. Hey, Stella. Is that Stella? Yeah, hey, Stella, good to see you. So when we move out the way, Satan gonna throw them crooked balls. So we can pick up where we left off. He don't like to see the good in you. He don't like for you to feel good. And I want to tell you the best thing you can give yourself when you come into recovery is self-love. Self-love. Hey, Carmen. Self-love is the best thing you can give yourself when you come into recovery. Because, see, we didn't know nothing about self-love. We damaged everything. We damaged the way we thought. We damaged family members. We harm people when we use. We harm people. And when I came in, I was a dress-up lie. It's okay for me to say it because it's the truth. Every pain that I felt, every pain that we have, we hide it. We as addicts is good in hiding our feelings. We are pretenders. We act like ain't nothing wrong with us. We okay. Don't nothing bother us. We are superwomen and supermen's, men's and women's that don't nothing bother us when everything bothers us. When everything bothers us. Some night I go to bed praying for everybody. I ain't gonna never lay down without praying for my loved ones and my family. Even if I don't see them all the time, they still family and friends. And people that I to encounter with that's going through something. Drug addiction ain't no joke. And people think, oh, it's just fentanyl, it's just heroin, it's just alcohol is a drug, pills is a drug, cough syrup is a drug, weed is a drug. All of them falls up under the NA of Narcotics Anonymous. You got the CA, Cocaine Anonymous. You got the AA, Alcohol Anonymous. And that's for people who didn't try the other drug, but they dealt with the alcohol and became alcoholic. And then you got the people that just did cocaine, but they didn't do the alcohol or the weed. They just did cocaine. But then you got Narcotics Anonymous. That's in everything. That's included in everything. So when I came to the point of understanding the program tells us that we can't move, we can't use no matter what happens. I didn't know what happens was going to happen. But that's why they say no matter what happens, moving out the way, facing the fears of not accomplish what we started. You know how much fears I had coming into the program that I was going to mess up? Because all I did was mess up. All I did was change my mind. All I did was lie. All I did was manipulate just to get one more. And so don't you know I was going through some fear factors in my life coming into treatment. But I had promised God that, God, if you help me help myself, I promise you I won't ever use again. And I had to let it be about my kids because I love my kids so much. I had to let it be about my kids until I learn how to love ourselves. Till we learn how to love ourselves, it's got to be a reason why we want to stay clean. Mine was my kids until I came in and started liking this stuff, started understanding this 12-step program and started working the 12-step program and started liking what I was reading, liking what I was hearing, liking what, no matter where I got to go to get it. I done went far as Chicago. I done went far as Atlanta. I done went far as California. I done been some places, y'all. I done went far as Seattle. I done went far as Tacoma, Washington. I done went far to get what I needed to get to save my life. Because see, when we in recovery, when we using, we on a whole nother different life frame. It's what we can do to get that drug. It's who we can hurt to get the drug. It's who we got to go through to get the drug. So we go through a lot, using, take a lot of work. I didn't know once I look back over my life, man, it took me a lot of work to lie and to manipulate and to use people and harm people and hurt people. And the most valuable person of all was ourselves. So facing the fears was something that we do when we come into the unknown of recovery. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to take place. We don't know if we're going to fail. All we know, we made some promises and we made promises before, but we broke them. But it was one man that I made a promise to and I stood on it. I said, God, if you just help me help myself, I promise you I'll never use drugs again. Now that was a promise I never made. But when it got to the point, I didn't trust me. So I had to trust a God that I can't see, God that I noticed there, the God that kept me when I was even using, a God that delivered me, a God that kept me, a God that helped me, a God that talked to me. I believed in the man now. Admitting to God, letting go. Talking to God because he going to give you the right answers. He going to show you some things that another person wouldn't show you or tell you. So I had to face the fears, go through it in order to come out of it. Admit to God that I ain't been faithful to me. Admit to God that I got a problem. Admit to God that this disease of an addiction is whooping my butt. Admit to God I'm tired. Admit to God I want to change. Admit to God that I'm tired of living a lie on a daily basis just to get one more hit or one more drink. I had to go through some things just like y'all got to go through some things. Y'all ain't no better than me. Y'all go through the same thing I go through. And sometimes when we get clean, seem like everything start rolling in. We feeling good about ourselves. We done moved out the way. We facing our fears. We done admitted to God and to everybody else that's in the program that we want to stay clean. I had to ask God, forgive me for all the wrongs I've done. Because I've done a lot. I've done a lot, God. I've done a lot. I even said some things to my mother that I shouldn't have said. I used to say some things to my daddy that I had a chance to tell daddy and mama I'm sorry. See, God knew I had a purpose. He knew we have a purpose that when we come clean, when we come into this thing called clean, this program, that we needed to face some fears and we needed to move out the way and we needed to admit to him what we hadn't admit to nobody else. And I had to admit the wrongs, which he already know, but it just sounds better coming out of my mouth. It sounds better coming from me. You know, where he can hear me clearly. I don't play with God, and God don't play with me. First time I ever been honest in my life in these over 3 decades that, you know, I ain't let nothing take me back there. Because if you went through what I went through, if you did the things that I did to get the drugs, if you lost your dignity like I did, if you lost your respect and your honesty like I did, you ain't going back. And if you just happen to go back, pop your butt back in. If you just happen to relapse, pop your butt back in just to let the deceased know you ain't won. You ain't won. Because God allowed me another chance to fix it. Another chance to come back in and look at what I didn't do. And how did I lose me for that moment? But I'm back. Thank God you made it back, because some of them didn't make it back. God removed the urges. I had to face that. Because the disease of an addiction is all about a disease. It's all about it wanting us to come back. We start craving. We start thinking. We start getting disfocused. We start wanting to go back when things seem to get too hard. When our kids is getting on our nerves. When everybody is seeming like y'all see me clean. Hey, everybody, I'm clean. I'm a recovering addict. And everybody looking at me like I'm crazy, but you know, it's like they didn't change. What happened? I thought that when I got clean, everybody was going to be happy for me and everybody was going to see that I was clean and everybody was going to want to help me and everybody was going to start going to meetings with me and be glad and proud of me. It don't happen like that. It don't happen like that. Because the very people that you thought would be happy for you was the very people that was using you along with the drug using you. So I had to learn what's the point? What's the point going down the street where I used to smoke dope and say, hey, I'm clean. I don't smoke no more. They don't want to hear that because I ain't giving them no more money. So they didn't want to hear that. But I was so happy that my sponsor was like, you lost your mind? How you going to ride down the street where you used to buy drugs from, crack from, and tell them people, guess what? I'm clean. I don't use no more. I can't buy no more drugs. She said, why the hell was you there? To try to prove a point to who? They sell drugs. That's what they do. Why would you go back to that place and tell them, well, it was because they knew my car and they was running. Why would you go down that street? I had a tough sponsor. Still tough. Why would you go down the street that you used to sell from? You used to get drugs from? Why would you go back down that street? Most people would avoid the places that they know they bought drugs from. Oh, she got me when I first came in. The first 30 days, I was so happy. I was telling everybody, I ain't used, I'm clean. You know, that's how I know how that girl feel that was dancing on Facebook. She was, she was gone and she was happy for them 4 days. But, I had to learn something. Hey, don't nobody that's selling drugs, that's doing wrong, that don't care for you, all you are to them is a money deal. So I had to learn some things. Can't nobody tell you no better than me because I've been through it. Staying humble is what my sponsor wanted me to work on. Renee, you got to stay humble. You got to be in a humble place that you never visited before. You got to learn how to stay humble. You got to learn when you want to travel and get ugly or somebody is making you mad or somebody is getting on your nerves. You got to learn how to work on being humble and patient. And that didn't work for me, I thought, until she made me do some footwork. I got to be humble and patient. And that was something that I hadn't, visited before, because it was always my way, when I want it, when I can get it, what I can do, and my way wasn't being patient. My way wasn't being humble. I lived to use and use to live. So wasn't no humbleness, or patient in my care in my life. It was always, use every minute that I can, and when I can, and when I didn't, I came up with things to make sure I get it, and no matter what I had to do to get it. So, you got self-love, you got facing your fears, admitting to God, telling him all about our wrongs and our right and why we do it and what took us over the edge, what pulled us, to make us continue to be somebody that we didn't even know. I didn't know me. Hey, Auntie Evelyn, one of my biggest supporters when she can get on here. I didn't understand what I understand now. That when we get in a place of being humble and patient, we start acting different. I think I'ma always be a loner. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because my space, our peace become important. I pick up the phone and call people and say I love you and talk to them. But I had to learn. I had to go through some things. Karma, y'all know. Stella, y'all know. You know what we have to go through. We know what we have to endure to not to use, or not to pick up, or not to get off our humbleness. Learn how to stay patient. I had to learn how to work on humbleness and patience. I had to learn that. And them drugs that I did for so long wanted me eager to learn more. Because the disease of an addiction, my behavior and my attitude and all that didn't have nothing to do with pick up. What made me pick up? I have a disease. And it's a everyday disease. It ain't no skip 1 week and stop a month and the disease go away. The disease is with me for the rest of my life. That's why I always have to say we are recovering addicts. I ain't gonna never say I'm an addict, because I'm not using. People can say what they want to say, and I can say what I want to say. I'm a recovering addict. When I was using, I was an active addict. I really was. The disease of an addiction is terrible. You look at people now, broken homes, fighting, killing each other, all over bullcrap behaviors and attitudes and drinking and getting high and not wanting to let go, not wanting to let God move you out the way. See, it's a big reward when you let God let you move out the way. People probably still don't know what that means, but I had to move me out the way. I had to get out the way in order to recover. I had to get out of my thinking. I had to get out of the way I was living. I had to get out of feeling sorry for myself. I had to get out of being lonely. I had to get out of being depressed. I had to tell God, God, I'm moving out the way, because see, my way it gets me in trouble. My way gets me to fall again. My way I have me picking up again. My way had me walking out in the back in the alleys searching for something that I know I don't need. So I know, we know, for all the hundreds of people who get on here, they know it ain't easy staying clean, but it ain't hard neither. We can get off at any good time and go back to getting high. That's why I say when I hear people say on Facebook, say I relapsed, but I got to start over. That's what you got to do. Because you know in this disease you will continue to use until you die if you don't stop. And to tell you the truth, I'm too scared to even start back. I don't even want to start back. But I'm too scared because I made God a promise that if he helped me help myself, I promised him I wouldn't use. Now I'm standing on that until the day I die. Because if I go back and use, I'm gone. That's it. That's the last chapter. That's it. And then we have to think about expectation. Why, when we come into recovery, we have so much expectation on how we think somebody else should be, how we think somebody else should stop using, how we think that this person think that they better than us. Expectation. Why do you think you was going to have more friends when you didn't have a lot of friends when you was using? Expectation will trick you. Expectation would tell you, well, you know what? I'm going to stop using. And then when something tragic happened or something that hurts us real bad, we forget about the expectation that we set ourselves up with to go back and pick up again. That's why that's why it's so true to stay humble and work on patience and surrender. So when I ask God to remove the drugs, God, just remove the taste out of my mouth. Just remove any taste that's going to cause me to pick up on my disease again and have me to use. I stood on that every day. God delivered me from the taste of alcohol, the taste of drugs. God delivered me from the weed. God, if I know anybody can do it, you can. I've been there, done that. I've seen you do the things to change people's lives. I've seen people go back to school. I've seen people get a house that was always homeless. I've seen people that get their driving license so they can drive a car. I've seen people go back to college and become something greater than what they was. I've seen God go back to school. I've seen him work miracles in people's lives that thought that they wasn't going to ever be able to hold a job or get a keys to the house or get a new car or get their kids back or fighting for their kids because of the addiction, and now you was able to get your kids back. I've seen that. So when you live a life that God didn't only let you go through so you could stop using, but gain some reward. That's why I say, I rewards myself. I got to be honest. Every month I'm going to buy me something. Every week I'm going to buy me something. Every week I'm going to pat myself on the shoulder. Because see, not using is a big deal. Now you might not think so. But using is a big deal for an addict like me, for an active like me, like I was. Out of my mind. Crying out to a God that I couldn't see, but I knew he was there. I knew he loved me. I'm so glad Mama taught us about the God of my understanding. Miss Peggy, I am so glad. If death can let you hear me, I am so glad that I am picking up the traits that you left for us. Learning how to forgive, learning how not to hold no grudges, learning how to live on life terms. You don't have to be happy every day. Good news don't come every day. But the one good news that came for me every day, I didn't pick up. We didn't pick up. We didn't use. Robin, we didn't use. We done been through hell and back. Clean. Carmen, we didn't use. Stella, we didn't use. We still maintaining. And so when I look back over our lives and I see facing fears, admitting to God all our wrongs and our right, asking God to remove things in our life, staying humble, staying patient, we learn something. We learn something, working to do whatever to help me with this disease. I don't never want to use again, y'all. And I ain't going to put myself in that position to go back and use. I am a recovering addict. I have a disease. I have a disease. And the only thing that I know can be medicine for me with this disease and for you all is don't pick up. I don't care about your behaviors. I don't care about your character defects. I don't care about your problems. I don't care about none of that. We have a disease, and we have to treat it like we have to take the medicine that we have, and that is the will not to ever pick up and use again. That's my daily thing. I ain't never going back. I ain't never picking up. I hate this disease. I saw what it done. It took my friends away, almost took me away. It took my rightful mind away, thinking how I was living, because when you on them drugs and you in the disease of an addiction, you don't care about nothing. You don't care about who you hurt, who you harmed, what you did, how you did it to get your drug of choice. All you wanted to do in lie? Oh, I had to be the biggest liar. I had to be. Because I lied every day to get some drugs. Sold stuff out my house to get some drugs. Sold some coochie just to get some drugs. The disease of an addiction. Expectations on how people think that we supposed to, we done got clean. Everything is better than it was. Expectations, why ain't nobody happy for me. Don't nobody know that I've been clean. Don't nobody love me no more. When I was using, they did everything for me and was around me all the time. Now don't nobody want to be around me. Don't nobody call and check on me no more. All because I'm using. What is it, God? And God had to sit me down and say, Renee, you're not doing what they do. You're not in the same predicament that they in. They're still facing their fears. They still got their expectations. They still ain't asked God to remove them for their habits and their alcohol and their drugs. They still trying to do it themselves. You ain't there no more, Renee. You done passed that. You working on self. And when you working on self, stop having expectation, thinking that everything's supposed to work in your favor. It ain't supposed to work in your favor. All you know you ain't used today. So when you start putting expectation on how people treat you or how they supposed to do, and the worst thing you can go through is when we get clean. The worst thing that seems to always bother even all the people that I talk to on a daily basis is their family, is their kids. It's like sometimes our kids want to push us to go back because they had better control over us, because they can talk to us anyway. They can do us anyway. But in time, I realized that too will change. Because when they see that they can't get to you, when they see you found your way, when they see you got some control, when they see you learn how to depend on God, guess what? God will start working on them. All the prayers of the righteous one avail it much. I prayed for my kids. I prayed for the situation between me and my daughter. I just had to let her go for a while. We didn't talk 5 or 6 months. I miss my daughter. I miss hearing her voice. But it was something more important that I wanted God to do, and that was work on both of us. Because my daughter was a creator of me. Her strength, her words, her speaking out, very boisterous, very stern, didn't play. That was me. So we bumped heads. So I had to remove myself, sometimes removing yourself out the way. That's why I like God when he moved me out the way. And one day she said, Mom, I'm sorry. My daughter, hey, shout out to my daughter because she's going over 2 months. She ain't smoked no weed. Now, somebody would think that ain't nothing. Somebody would think, okay, what a big deal. Whoa, this girl been smoking since she was 15. I didn't even know she was smoking weed. And all of a sudden, my baby saw the prayers of the righteous availeth much, because all of a sudden she had to come to me like a woman, and I had to listen like a woman, and I had to go to her like a woman and said, Felicia, I played a part in your problems too, but I ain't taking all of it. But I played a part because you watch me. And to see my baby, to see my daughter clean, done buried her daddy last week. And she said, Mama, I still ain't used. The gratification of living to see her make a difference. She realized that she had to blame something on something. She blamed on me, or she blamed herself because you're using drugs. And when you really take drugs out of your life, you can see very clearly. I thank God I don't use drugs no more. I thank God I don't have to fit in with people just to be their friends. I thank God that I learned how I can be alone and stay alone and ride alone and pray alone. I thank God I found the humbleness and the patience and let the humility set into my life that take me to another whole atmosphere. Everything I touched seemed like, to me, everything I touch is gold. Seemed like God blessed me in every way, each way, all day. And every day that I don't use is a good day. No matter what happens in that day, but every day that I don't pick up, shout out to my baby. She got 3 kids, 2 of my kids, and we leaving in May going to the graduation. She got 1 graduating from college, from welding. She got 1 graduating from high school. And you know I ain't going to miss it. I'm going to be there. I've always been in my grandkids' life. I'm proud of my daughter, because giving up something that you've been used to help you get away from pain, or help you get away from yourself, or help you figuring out that that you got a problem, is a big thing. Anytime my kids can stop doing anything that they was doing, it's a blessing for me, because anytime I stop doing what I was doing for 30 years, I don't care if don't nobody else like that I'm clean. I don't care if everybody ain't looking at me. Expectation will fool you. Expectation will tell you, ain't nobody happy. I'm happy. I did this for me. Nobody but me. Because I had to find a way to deal with the enemy within me. And once I learned that, once I read the steps, and the steps that was all me in them steps. Humility, self-centered, selfishness, hateful, for not forgiving, harming other people, disliking myself, not understanding or even trying to understand myself. I had to go through some things in order to get to where I'm at today. And I ain't letting nothing take me off my square that's going to cause me to go back to the pain that I don't even like visiting sometimes. But I had to visit to be a reminder. That's where I used to be, and we ain't there no more. We ain't there no more. When the God come in your life, he change your thought and let you see clearly, let you walk clearly, let you love clearly, let you forgive clearly. When God come into your life, it's a big thing. It's all good. It's all good. Forgiveness was the best thing that was one of the best things that I know that took me a long time to get to. Forgiveness. Forgiving myself. Forgiving other people that hurt me. Forgiving me for hurting other people. That forgiveness is a big word. Because once you learn how to forgive, no matter who did this to you, no matter how your kids, or how your man, or how your marriage, or how your husband, you got to learn how to forgive. Because if you don't learn how to forgive, then you will start holding on to some stuff. And then that stuff will get on top of the other stuff. And then all of a sudden that forgiveness don't even matter no more. You start to hate again. You start to carry resentments again. You start not to love again. Then you start picking up little bitty traces and behaviors of your active using when you ain't using no more. And that's very scary. So I ain't gonna try. I don't pick up the behaviors that I used to have. Because I don't want them behaviors no more. I don't need it no more. I had a disease of an addiction that was active me using, and I used to live and live to use so I can maintain not feeling nothing. The best gift we got is to feel everything. Sorry, sadness, loneliness, confused, joy, peace, happiness. It's a good thing to feel all different sort of feelings and knowing you ain't got to pick up and use. That's the best gift anybody can have. That's the best gift anybody can have. Or when I got married to my husband, and third husband. When I got married to my husband, I went to Africa. I was on top of the world. But in my mind, I knew something wasn't right. But just the fact of me getting on a plane, getting on the plane, conquer from sitting on a seat where I can sit out the window, just conquering them things was all that mattered to me. And I was clean. Not knowing that he probably just wanted to marry me for a green card. But like I told him, and I tell y'all, you didn't have to do that, baby. I'll change. I would have helped you get a green card anyway. I would have helped you see your kids. I would have helped you anyway. You didn't have to waste my time, your time, by getting a green card. But now that you got the green card, you got to go. Because you can't check me. You can't hold me hostage. Because, see, I know what drugs did, and that helped me hostage. And I promised the day I got off of drugs that I made a promise to God that I would never let nothing hold me hostage ever again. You got to go. Matter of fact, I'm going to help you pack your bags. Just like that. I said, just like that. You got to go. You in my space. You messing up my peace. You done took some joy away from me that I worked hard for. And if that means letting you go to get back what I need to get back, you got to go. Crazy how when you get clean, you see things clearly. Drove him to the airport and we didn't say one word. Husband and wife. Not one word. And then in that moment was some humbleness. Because, see, I could have said some things to you that would have cut like a knife. But was it worth it? You know why it wasn't worth it? Because I found a God in me that was telling me everything that I missed or everything that I didn't pay attention to. He had to show me bits and pieces. But God, I thank you. Because you didn't leave me out. You started showing me some things about him. You started reminding me of some things he said. You started reminding me of some things that he asked me to do. You started reminding me I was lonely, so I looked for love in the wrong places. But God, I'm not sorry about going to Africa. God, thank you that I had a chance to go to Africa for 14 days. Thank you, God, that I met some little kids that had less than me, that I was able to bless them. Thank you, God. I got on a plane. I sat by the windows. I conquered my fears. Thank you, God, for all the wine and alcohol they was bringing me. And it was so funny because this one white guy, he was sitting next to me. He said, I noticed it. You know, I was going to call myself saving the wine bottles and everything for when I got back to Milwaukee to give it some gifts. Because I don't drink. I'm a recovering addict. And he kept seeing all them, you know, when you going international and when you going on a plane, they serve you good food when you finna go out of the state. And they had bring bottles of wine and steaks and chicken. I couldn't believe it because it was all new to me because I had never been nowhere as far as Seattle, California, New York, all them different places. But I was out of the state. And that white boy sat next to me and he was like, ma'am, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah, baby. We was talking about him going to school and him doing this. He was like, all them bottles you got in that bag, You don't drink? I said, oh, no, I'm a recovering addict. I said, I'm going to save them and give them to souvenirs. And he said, do you mind if I get a couple bottles? I said, mine? You can have all of them, because I just thought about something. I got my suitcases, and I got this whole bag of bottles. That's going to be too much for me to carry. I said, if you want it, you can have it. And the more they kept bringing me, I kept taking it. I didn't take not one drink. And that white boy was sitting next to me. We laughed and talked. And he was fired up. And he was like, I said, now you don't need no more. He said, I know, I'm finna cool it. He said, I'm finna cool it, but thank you. You've been the best passenger sitting here for these long 8 hours in the air. I said, was it because of the alcohol or was it because of the conversation? He said it was both. So God, you can't tell me that when God come into your life, you know, and I had some gratefulness. See, with this program, you're going to learn about gratefulness. You're going to learn about, hey, Deborah, how you doing, baby? You're going to learn about gratefulness. You're going to learn that. Being free from drugs and alcohol, you're going to learn what gratefulness is. I'm grateful to wake up in the morning and I didn't take a drink. I'm grateful that I got a roll of tissue paper and some money in my purse to buy another one when I used to didn't even have 50 cents to buy a roll of tissue paper. Oh, gratefulness is when I can look in my face and see where I got shot with a 357 while I put my Mako and think about I'm still here. Oh, gratefulness is where I can go on 3 freezers and it's full of food and I ain't got to worry about being hungry. And you going to go through some gratefulness. Gratefulness when I got a roof over my head and I got some people in the house that truly love me. Gratefulness is when I can get up and go to service on Sunday and don't hold no resentments or anger like I once did. Gratefulness is when I can go to the bank and get a little money. Might not be much, but whatever it is, I got something in there. Gratefulness, I can go to the closet. You can go to the closet and you can pick out any given thing. I can do soup for every day because I love me some clothes. Gratefulness is when I can see. I can clearly see that I couldn't see before. Everything is on time. Everything is right. Clearfulness. Gratefulness is when I can walk with the mind of being free from drugs, forgiveness, gratefulness, walking in change. God has changed me to walk in the change. He will change you to walk in the change. No matter what's around us, no matter who drinking or who getting high or who on pills, long as I ain't doing it, long as you ain't doing it, we can't control nobody else's recovery. Our recovery is ours and only ours to work on. And baby, you gonna work. Ooh, you gonna work. You gonna work? Loving and kindness. That comes freely too when you stop using. Loving and kindness, not holding nothing, not being mean, not liking nobody, not bringing up grudge things, not still sitting on hate, not still talking about what you did to me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Loving and kindness, walking in change. Old patterns must change. You can't keep the same pattern. Like when I sew, I can't use that same pattern and cut that same pattern out no more. I only can cut it one time, but I can cut different suits to go to that pattern, to make that pattern. So I had to learn that. Old patterns must go. Must go. Resentfulness, dishonesty, afraid, self-respect, gaining your self-respect back, disappointment. I ain't disappointed in me in no way, no form. When you become clean, you walking in change. Ain't no disappointment. If I make a decision, I fail at it, or I went to do something, I fail at it. Let that be a lesson to you in your life, whether it's a relationship or a friendship, just people that you know. Whatever lesson you had to learn, let that be gratefulness. Let that be something very grateful in your life. Because somebody will stay in it for years and years and years. And I don't stay in it no more. How do we feel about getting clean? How do I feel about getting clean? How do y'all feel about getting clean? Can I hear somebody throw something at me? How do y'all feel? Hey, Robin, how do y'all feel, Stella? How do y'all feel, Evelyn? Evelyn always been clean, but she once drank or something probably before. But how do y'all feel about being clean? What was the purpose of us getting clean? To see the change, to understand the change, live in the change, be the change. That's what I got out of it. I love who I am. And it took me a long time to get there. It took me a long time to love me. It took us a long time to get to the point that where we are today. You know, forgiving ourselves for the behaviors, for the wrongs, for the harms that we doing. You know, losing loved ones and we was active using. You know, one thing I'm so grateful for that when my mother died and my son died, that I was clean. Because had I been out there using, and they found me and told me that, I just probably would have died. You know, but it's the gratefulness in me is just waking up in the morning to know I'm about to change. I know I'm walking in change. That's a good feeling. That's the whole purpose of being clean. Problems, errors in our lives. I had a lot of problems in my life that I had to fix. I had to understand. I had to know that once you get clean, everything about you, everything around you, everything that's in you can change. Long as you clean. But ain't nothing gonna change if you using, you know, nothing changed because you're still using. What matters to me is people's clean time. I celebrate a lot of clean time with different people. I go to their clean time. I'll give you a shout out. Like all the peoples I hear on Facebook, I give them a shout out. I ain't never not text one person that said they celebrating 4 years, 3 months, 2 years, or whatever. I am so glad because at one time in my life, since I've been clean, I wasn't seeing a lot of people talk about recovery. I see, oh, you can come into treatment and oh, you can do this. Now it's about recovery. Everybody is on there shouting their clean time. Everybody is on there talking about what drugs and alcohol did. Everybody is on there saying what I say all the time. You ain't never got to use. You got to change your pattern. You got to change your behaviors. You got to change your ways. You got to change the way you set up your thing. When you come in, you got to remove some peoples out of your life. You got to stay away from some places. You can't be around certain things. You have to make a change in order to see the change. Because I am the change. And nobody is going to take that away from me because I hate this disease. I hate what it does to people. I hate how it put people in a different mind frame. I hate how it kills people. I hate how they take their lives from the overdoses of the fentanyl and all this kind of stuff. I hurt every time I see something. Every time I hear something, I hurt. Because it could have been me. Could have been y'all. So somewhere down the line, you got to learn what gratefulness is really about. It's about never going back to what had you chained, what never had, that had you hostage. You don't go back to that. I ain't never going back to something that won't let me go. I had to fight like heck to get out of that feeling of using drugs and wanting to drink every day. It's okay, people drink occasionally. I ain't one of them people. I can't drink occasionally. I can't use occasionally. Once I drink, I'm gone. I got a behavioral problem. We have to learn that sometimes we have to be grateful for what we got and not try to go back and see what can we change again in that disease of an addiction. I ain't never going back. And I done had the worst news to the best news, and I still ain't using. I tell y'all the truth, when my mama died, I felt like I wanted just to go somewhere and never come back. I went through some feelings that I had never experienced in my life. Everything that I thought about, that I said to my mother that wasn't okay, that I said to my mother that I did, it wasn't okay. I mean, I went through some changes because the love of my life is gone now. But I was so glad for that 2 hours and 48 minutes that me and her talked that night before she died. And the next call at 6 o'clock, I could hear my brother screaming, "Mama gone." Y'all, if y'all ain't been there, that is the worst pain you could ever go to. The love of your life, the first love that you ever fell in love with, is gone. That's why I tell you I have to stay humble and I have to stay patient and I have to have God to work on me because I miss my mother every day. Every day. And the day that her picture is everywhere in this house, I want to see you as much as I can see you. I want to feel you as much because we had a good mama. God is good. And I thank him. I thank him for all the failures. I thank him for all the letdowns. I thank him for all the hurt because every failure, every hurt, every disappointment, everything that I went through was building me back up. It was making me stronger than I ever been or ever knew to get. I've been through some things and I ain't used. I have not used. So therefore, I understand what the grateful mode is. I understand what the being grateful, understanding the love of God as I see it. I ain't never got to use. Took my baby, took my son, my oldest son. I didn't use. I was in the atmosphere. My mind was trying to set me up. But I still didn't use what Johnny want me to use. No. What Felicia want me to use. What Wayne want me to use. No. Using ain't going to bring them back. I had to go through the feeling of hurt. I had to go through the feeling of burying my son and my mama and my man I had to go through some change clean. Clean. Me too, Carmen. My mother was my everything. And I had to ask the God of my understanding, God, you got to work on me. God, come on, you got to work on us. You can't let us go now. You've been holding us, carrying us, lifting us, talking to us. Come on, God, you can't. I'm in a danger zone. I'm in a danger zone. I got to be honest. I fell on my knees. I said, I'm in the game. Hey, the best person in my life that always had my back. I can call my mama. I can talk to my mama. I can cry with my mama. I can lay in the bed with my mama. And we can sit up all night and talk. We can be on the phone every day. I never missed a day without talking to my mama. You know, except when I got in my self-centered ways when I was using drugs and then I didn't want to call her for 2 or 3 days. You know, but God, you took me to some places that I had to see again. I thank God for every feeling, every pain, every hurt, because I know how to manifest it now. I know how to deal with my feelings. I understand that we drive on feelings. And when I'm in a danger zone or when I'm pissed off or when I get mad, you know what I do? Steal away. I go in my room, close my door. I don't want to be bothered. I'm in a place right now that I got to learn how to deal with the situation and look at the situation. And I got to ask myself, Renee, what's really going on with you? Where you at? Where you going? Where you been? Come back. Thank God I haven't used. Thank God that none of y'all who come up on this site, on this post, you don't have to use no matter what. God had kept you here for a purpose and a reason. And that was to help another person that's going to go through. Because God going to send some peoples in your life. They're going to need some help. They're going to need your encouraging words. Going to need you to give them some hope. Going to need for you to tell them about the 12 steps of the Narcotics Anonymous program. And that's what I'm going to do until the death do me part. I love being clean. The best thing I did in my life was say no to drugs. The best thing I did in my life, learn how to free myself from drugs and alcohol. You know, if I make a wrong, like I said, sometimes we make bad decisions, but it's okay because I ain't got to pick up behind it. I ain't got to pick up behind it. Sometimes I fell away. I stealed away, God, but I didn't go and pick up about it. You know, I just deal with it. So people say, well, I never liked the feelings, the word feelings. I love feelings because feelings let you know that you're mutual, that you're human, that you God's child. So when I feel a certain way, I'm going through some changes, I identify with it. I understand, Renee, where you going? Where you at? Where you been? Come on back here. What's going on with you? And I have to do an inventory on my life. I have to do an inventory. You have to do an inventory on your life. God didn't get us clean for nothing. It's a purpose and a reason. He had us to get clean because he know who he gonna need. He know when he gonna need them. He know that somebody gonna need us. You ain't never got to use ever again. I thank God for y'all. I thank God this was the best thing that God gave me tonight. Move out the way. And we went over all the things. We went over facing the fears, admitting to God our wrongs. Remove God, remove everything, God. Stand humble and patient, working to do whatever to help me with this disease. Making amends. Oh, I made them. Making amends. Through the grave, on the phone, personal, face to face. Expectation, forgiveness, taking inventory of ourselves. We just talked about walking in change, loving and kindness. Old pattern must leave. Resentful, dishonest, afraid, resentfulness, and disappointment. We talked about all of that. How do we feel about getting clean? We talked about that. Problems in our lives that caused us to do the things that we did. And it had nothing to do with behaviors and all that. It had to do with the disease of an addiction. Disease of an addiction. And I thank you, God. I thank you for putting peoples in my life. I thank you for you ain't never got to use no matter what, no matter how you feeling. If you feeling like you want to use, if you feeling like you depressed, if you feeling like you hurt, deal with it. One-on-one, deal with it. Because using is never the answer. Using is never the answer. That's my answer. It's never the answer. I got to always maintain being clean. That's my job. That's my worth. That's my purpose. That's my gift. Walking in change. Oh, I think that'll be next week. Walking in change. Okay, God. Walking in change. Okay, y'all. I enjoyed y'all tonight. Thank y'all so very much. Thank you for coming into my world, my space, my broadcast. Thank you for me. Thank me for me. Thank me that I'm clean. So I can share some things with y'all. Thank God for Robin. Thank God for Godmama. Thank God for my other Godmama. Who I talked to today. Godmama, I love you. I know you're probably watching. Thank Curlin Boy. Thank Stella. Thank Robin. Thank Deborah. Thank some more names I can't remember because they are. But I love y'all. I love y'all for being my supporters. That want to hear. That can maybe help you. And I listen to what y'all think. Don't ever think I don't go back on my broadcast and look about what everybody say. And I'm going to send you a text later on. You know, I really enjoyed you tonight. I love you. And thank you for participating in my recovery. Amen, Robin. I love you too. Let me know if I can be any support to you if you need me. I'm there for you. I done put it out for you, so I'm there for you. Okay, and next week we will be on Sunday. Walking in change. That's going to be my next thing. But our thing for tomorrow is we made a list of all persons we had harmed, and became willing to make amends to them all. I believe I'm on step 8 for next week. I am, because I wrote it down. So thank y'all. God bless you. If ain't nobody told you they love you, tell them that Miss Renee said they love you. I've enjoyed y'all tonight. You know, I was on fire tonight, been on fire all day. Thank God for not loving us. Thank God for not giving up on us. And thank God for letting us walk in and change in our lives, because God has been good to us. So y'all have a safe night. See y'all on Sunday at 2:00, and may God continue to bless you and take care of you and love you just like he loving on me, and thank y'all. So, hey, Deborah, thank you, Deborah, tonight for coming on. I ain't seen Deborah Hunter in a while. Bless you, Deborah. Thank y'all so very much. Good night. Be nice and kind to someone tonight. Thank you.